This is now known around the league. And it's telling if DeWanna Bonner says she chose the Fever over the Lynx and Mercury to win.
Minnesota Lynx fans, this one's going to sting. Coach Cheryl Reeve was confident that DeWanna Bonner was locked in, contract nearly finalized, press conference likely in the works. But at the last moment, Indiana Fever swooped in and stole Bonner right from under them. This wasn't just any missed opportunity for the Lynx, it was a major blow to their off-season strategy. Reeve is reportedly frustrated after losing Bonner to the Fever, where she'll now team up with Caitlin Clark. The question now is, what's next for Minnesota?
But the Lynx were there. So, to choose the Fever over them is saying something. And I think all of those players choosing the Fever said all you need to know.
But here's the thing, Bonner had been dropping hints for months. She made it clear she wanted to win now, and when the Phoenix Mercury traded for her fiancé, Alyssa Thomas, she barely reacted. The signs were there, loud and clear, yet Minnesota chose to overlook them. They believed they had this deal locked in, but in reality, Bonner was thinking steps ahead. While Reeve and the Lynx were confident in their plan, Bonner had already set her sights elsewhere.
I'm glad that this really worked out because this almost turned really ugly for the WNBA, man. You talking about Napheesa Collier being on a revenge tour. That was definitely going to be a revenge tour worth watching, man, because they were going to mop the...
This wasn't a last-minute decision. It was a carefully planned move that had been in the works for a while. The Lynx were so sure they had Bonner that they were already picturing her in their lineup. They saw her as the key to bringing another championship to Minnesota, pairing her with Napheesa Collier and Kayla McBride. The front office had already envisioned victory parades rolling through downtown Minneapolis, celebrating what they believed would be their next title run. But in the end, their confidence didn't match reality. Bonner had other plans.
I want y'all to hear this. All 5 of last season's regular starters left during this offseason free agency. They're talking about the Connecticut Sun here, including 3 who had spent their entire careers, a collective 23 seasons with the organization. One of those players, Alyssa Thomas, sought a move to a championship contender, Phoenix, with...
If you need proof of just how committed Minnesota was to landing Bonner, consider this. They even explored trading for her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas, hoping it would seal the deal. That's like buying someone a house before the first anniversary, bold, risky, and, in the end, unnecessary. Minnesota went all in, convinced Bonner was the missing piece. But despite their efforts, she had already made up her mind, leaving the Lynx empty-handed and scrambling for a new plan.
Lynx also explored trading for Thomas, league sources told The Athletic, and looked at signing her fiancé and former Sun teammate DeWanna Bonner.
Meanwhile, while Reeve and the Lynx were making their pursuit of Bonner loud and public, Indiana took a different approach, calm, quiet, and strategic. No leaks, no flashy moves, just smart behind-the-scenes relationship building. While Minnesota was busy making a spectacle of their interest, the Fever stayed patient, carefully setting the stage for the perfect steal. They let Reeve believe she had this in the bag, only to swoop in at the last moment and secure Bonner when it mattered most.
Nonetheless, the other things or other desires or other factors, as they say, I'm pretty sure that's the key factor of why she left and why she went to the Fever instead of the Lynx.
And just like that, it was over. Bonner rejected Minnesota's offer and decided to team up with Caitlin Clark in Indiana. The Lynx were left stunned, scrambling for a backup plan, while Reeve was absolutely furious. What was supposed to be their biggest off-season move had slipped right through their fingers, and there was nothing they could do to stop it.
Now thinking of the Lynx, man, that would be a disgusting team if she ended up going to the Lynx, man. Can you imagine Alyssa Thomas going to the Lynx, allowing Napheesa Collier to play the 4, and then you even have Bonner there as well? Like, dog, that is...
DeWanna Bonner completely outmaneuvered Cheryl Reeve and the Lynx front office, and they never saw it coming. The wildest part? She had been dropping hints for months about her true intentions, but Minnesota failed to pick up on them. The signs were right there, plain as day. If only they had been paying closer attention, they might have realized they were never really in the running to begin with.
Because I can't even imagine Fee at the 3, and then you have Bonner and Alyssa at the 4 and the 5. Oh my goodness, bro. You could tell the Lynx knew that the Indiana Fever were piping up as far as grabbing some of the best players to make that organization run like a well-oiled machine.
Remember the WNBA All-Star game last season? Photos surfaced of DeWanna Borner and Caitlin Clark locked in deep, focused conversations. These weren't just casual chats or friendly exchanges between competitors, these were the kinds of talks that hinted at something bigger in the works. While the basketball world assumed Minnesota was the front-runner for Borner, the real plan was unfolding right in front of everyone's eyes.
All-Star game. Now, there's certain pictures coming around, floating around online of Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Borner at the All-Star game, chopping it up, kind of insinuating, not saying that this facts, that this whole situation kind of could have been in the works already.
This wasn't some last-minute change of heart, it was a carefully orchestrated move, months in the making. Borner let Minnesota believe they were in control, but in reality, she had already committed to Indiana's vision well before free agency even began. While Reeve and the Lynx were busy planning their championship run, Borner was quietly aligning herself with the Fever's long-term blueprint. Minnesota thought they were making the biggest move of the offseason, but Borner had other plans all along.
Most of the teams do realize that is about to happen, so they are strengthening up their roster. And that move right there would have been crazy, fam. That would have been a crazy move. Having Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Borner on the Lynx, that would have been unfair because then you have Fee and then you have McBride. Oh my goodness, dog.
And let's not forget about Phoenix. They really thought they had this locked up. The Mercury pulled what they believed was the ultimate power move, trading for Alyssa Thomas, Borner's fiancée. Their front office probably thought, asterisk, there's no way she says no now, we literally brought in her partner. Asterisk, but then reality hit. Not only did Borner turn them down, she didn't even seem tempted. Phoenix's grand plan completely flopped, leaving them scrambling to figure out how they misread the situation so badly.
Now, from the jump, I felt like Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Borner was going to be that other couple that always stayed together. But, you know, DeWanna Borner pulled a rabbit out of the hat on me, man, and said, hey, I'm going Indiana.
On the other hand, Minnesota had every reason to believe they were the perfect fit. They had the championship pedigree, a veteran coach in Cheryl Reeve, and a talent-packed roster built to win now. On paper, it seemed like the ideal destination for a 37-year-old star chasing one last ring before retirement. But Borner saw something else, something both Minnesota and Phoenix completely overlooked.
But Phoenix also heavily courted Borner, league sources said, yet the desire to win immediately, among other factors, led Borner to the Indiana Fever.
After signing with Indiana, Borner didn't talk about joining an established powerhouse. Instead, she highlighted her excitement about being part of a team on the rise, an organization committed to growing the sport of women's basketball. That wasn't just PR talk, that was a veteran who's been around long enough to recognize real potential. While others saw Indiana as a work in progress, Borner saw an opportunity to build something special. And now, she's ready to make it happen.
Going to the Lynx is definitely a win right now situation. It's mainly the other factors that made her go to the Indiana Fever.
The Fever just went from a WNBA afterthought to the hottest ticket in town. DeWanna Borner's decision wasn't just another free agent signing, it was a statement. By choosing Indiana, she wasn't chasing an easy ring. She wanted to help rebuild a struggling franchise into a true powerhouse. And if you ask her, that journey to greatness starts now.
I think maybe Borner is going towards popularity. Maybe she grow that popularity and then after the season is over with or when she retires, she can start her own podcast and have people check in with her. I don't know. I'm just giving out hypotheticals here.
The most telling part of Borner's decision? She didn't just say she wanted to help Indiana compete, she talked about bringing them back to championship form. This wasn't about joining an already established contender like Minnesota or Phoenix. It was about building something from the ground up, leaving a lasting legacy by reviving a franchise that had been overlooked for years.
That move right here, she's basically saying, I want to play in front of sold out crowds. I want to get that popularity popping. I want people to sell out my jersey.
And here's where it gets even crazier. According to The Athletic Borner's top priority was winning right now at that means she truly believes Indiana gives her a better shot at a championship than Minnesota or Phoenix. At first, that might sound shocking. But when you break it down, it actually makes perfect sense.
I feel it, man. What a business decision. And then also you have a competitive team that could actually go to the finals this year. So
Indiana isn't just another rebuilding team, they've got something special brewing with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. The Fever now boast one of the most dangerous young duos in the WNBA, two generational talents who complement each other perfectly and could dominate the league for the next decade. Borna saw that potential. She realized that joining forces with Clark and Boston puts her in the perfect position to ride the wave of a team on the rise.
I knew Alyssa Thomas wasn't going to ever think about going to the Indiana Fever the way she was talking about the fan base at the end of the season. But yeah, man, DeWanna Bonner, man, said, look, forget what you're talking about. I'm about to take my talents to Indiana. I don't care how you feel about
The common belief was that veteran players only wanted to sign with teams that were already championship contenders. But Borna completely flipped that logic. She's thinking 5 steps ahead, understanding that the smartest move isn't joining an already established super team, it's getting in early with the team that's about to become one. She didn't just see Indiana's current roster, she saw the future of women's basketball taking shape before the rest of the league even caught on.
If this happened, I believe the Indiana Fever are going to be one of the best running gun teams you've ever seen in the WNBA. And that goes back to me saying that Caitlin Clark is still going to average 20 points, I feel, and be able to get those assists.
Indiana wasn't just struggling for a few seasons, they were stuck in irrelevance for nearly a decade. As a small market team, they simply couldn't attract top-tier talent, no matter how much money they had. When you looked at the WNBA landscape, it was clear where stars wanted to go: the big market appeal of New York, the championship pedigree of Minnesota, or the bright lights of Las Vegas. Indiana? That was the place where careers faded away. So when DeWanna Borna turned down 2 elite teams to sign with the Fever, it wasn't just a free agency move, it was a statement.
I feel like the Fever have a great chance of averaging between 90 to 100 points a game, bro. I'm not going to lie. And Caitlin is still going to be Caitlin. She's going to be more efficient on the shooting, seeing how she's been working out.
Most analysts believed that even with Caitlin Clark, veterans would avoid Indiana. The logic was simple: one rookie, no matter how elite, couldn't erase years of losing overnight. The Fever were supposed to stay at the bottom, stuck in basketball purgatory. But DeWanna Borna's decision just proved everyone wrong. Indiana isn't just a team on the rise, they're the team everyone suddenly wants to be part of. And if you don't believe it yet, just wait, this is only the beginning.
Indiana Fever star DeWanna Bonner turned down 2 elite teams in free agency for a powerful season. Because I'm telling you right now, bro, no disrespect to the Mercury or the Lynx, but I don't see them going all the way.
The Indiana Fever have completely changed the WNBA landscape. In just a few months, they've gone from being overlooked to becoming the league's hottest destination. For years, they couldn't even get a meeting with top-tier free agents. Now, veterans are lining up, eager to be part of the revolution happening in Indiana.
And having more of a future, you know what I'm saying, than a lot of these other teams. Like, they future look good, bro. And it's like, why not be a part of history?